What's up, everybody? It's your boy Elvius Void here, coming in with a part 2 of What If Deku Got One for All Early. So last episode we left off with Izuku going and texting All Might and then meeting up at Dagobah Beach. So let's just get right into this. Izuku meets All Might at the cleaned up Dagobah Beach, where All Might congratulates Izuku for being accepted into UA High School personally. After All Might tells Izuku that he will now have to keep adjusting to the one-for-all quirk inside his classroom and may have to hold back against his fellow students. It is springtime for the first day of UA's year, so Izuku prepares to leave and is wished good luck by his mother at UA. Izuku walks to his class, which is 1A, hoping that Katsuki and the person wearing the the person wearing the glasses aren't in his class. But his hopes are crushed as soon as he opens the massive door, he sees Katsuki with his legs on the door his desk, and the boy in the glasses scolding Bakugo and telling him off for having his legs up on the desk. Bakugo, who is getting annoyed, asks who he is and why does he keep on bothering him, with Tenya introducing himself and Izuku overhearing this. The student with the glasses, Tenya, then goes to introduces himself to Izuku, saying that his name is Tenya Ida, but Izuku stops him, saying that he already knows, as he overheard him talking to Katsuki. Tenya commends Izuku for understanding the true nature of the practical test, for the robot test for the getting to UA, and admits that he is a better man and a better student. Then, the girl that Izuku had saved enters the class, and is glad to see that Izuku made it into UA, and quickly hugs Izuku, thanking him again for saving her during the test. Katsuki, overhearing this, is confused on how Izuku even saved anyone in the test, and thought that he would have died from all the robots attacking the students for the test. Soon, a man enters the class and introduces himself as Shoto Aizawa, as he is in his caterpillar sleeping bag. He then tells the students that he will be the homeroom teacher for class 1A, and tells everyone to put their PE uniforms on and head out to the PE ground for the quirk test. For everything would go to the same, with all the students meeting outside, and Aizawa telling Izuku instead of Katsuki to come, since he got first place in the entrance exam, with Katsuki being even more confused in the statement, as he knows that Izuku is quirkless, but he does know that he does work out. With Izuku walking up and grabbing the ball from Aizawa, he's then ready to throw the ball, and powers up 50%, because he can use 40% all over his body using full current, but he's only going to use it in his arm, so he will be able to use 50% in just one of his limbs, and uses 50% in his entire arm, throwing it, being able to get way more than the original. He'll be able to get at least 3,000 meters just from using 50% of one for all, with himself holding back, has to not make a gust of wind to throw the other students to the ground. Bakugo, who is pissed off on finding out that Izuku actually had a quirk, rushes towards him, but is stopped by Aizawa, stating that if he does something like this again, he'll be expelled. Izuku, not minding this, as he's always used to Katsuki roughing him up and just being an arsehole like usual, walks past Katsuki, with Katsuki still seething at Izuku lying to him all these years. The beginning of the test would start with the 50-meter dash, with Izuku using 40% of one for all throughout his body, with him using I've forgotten even what it's called now. Full cowling, being able to completely wipe out who was versing with Katsuki, and be able to use get past the 50-meter dash in less than a second, beating anybody else during the test. With the grip strength as well, he would be able to get first place, beating everyone, including Ojiro, who uses his extra limbs by using more of one for all to strengthen himself to grip and not break it, but he'll be able to get a really high score, nearly breaking it. The standing long jump, again, Izuku would be able to use full carrying to jump extremely high, getting the tallest and highest number. Throughout all these tests, Izuku will be getting first place in all of them, without even going 100% using one for all. The sideways jumps, sadly, Izuku would not get first place, but would be getting second place to Mineta. With the final test being the pitch, Izuku doesn't have to go and do this test, as he already did it at the beginning of the Quirk test. Everything else would go to the normal, with no one getting expelled, as Aizawa only wanted to use this as a ploy to see if anybody has talent to continue to be a hero. We're seeing that everyone does have talent, with Izuku getting first place, Momo getting second, and the rest will be the original. I think Bakugo got second original, so he'd be getting third this time around. Without everything else happening like usual, like canon, the day would end. All Might, who was secretly watching Izuku, was impressed with Izuku's actions of using one for all and being able to hold back as to not destroy the surrounding area. With everything going to usual, with everyone leaving. Oh, I forgot to mention that, Izuku would get second place to the throw in the ball, because Ochako with her zero gravity, so he would still get first place overall, but he wouldn't get first place in that. Anyway, with the school day finishing, Izuku becomes friends with Ochako and Tenya Ida, and is well acquainted with the other people in the class, as in this turn of events, he is less socially anxious towards everybody else, so he'll be able to make friends with most of the other people, like Kirishima, who has an outgoing personality. With Izuku being extra friendly towards Ochako and Tenya, as they are both now connected and now become proper friends, with them now leaving their class and going home. The next day, after the end of the normal classes, 1A has their hero studies with the number one pro hero, All Might. Izuku wouldn't be as excited as the original, because he would have been spending way more time with I wouldn't say way more time, he would be spending most of the same time together with All Might, but it'd be on a more personal level after many sparrings with All Might and him actually trying to properly teach Izuku how to properly use One for All to its full capabilities. With this situation as well, Izuku's costume would be different, and it wouldn't be the original really jumpsuit type of tacky stuff that he wore before, but instead would be what he would be wearing now in the current manga. If you don't know what that is, just search up like Dark Izuku, whatever it is, or maybe not Dark. Just if you don't know, read the current manga. He has a much better suit than what he has in the original. So he would walk out in that with most of Class 1A saying that Izuku's costume looks really cool, but Katsuki would just glare at him. So now we'll go on to the battle trial. So what Class 1A changes after changing into the hero costumes and going to Grounds B for the battle trial. All Might says that the battle trial will be an indoor battle, as most hero battles are indoor and not outdoor, unlike the media would showcase, as that's the only place that they can actually get film. He continues to say that they will be split into villains and hero groups and be put on a 2-on-2 team battle. All Might then explains the training trial. The villains will be guarding a nuclear weapon, and the heroes will be trying to stop them. As you already know all this stuff, the teams will be put into the same thing as original, with Izuku and Ochako being the same team, and they'll be versing Bakugo and Ida. Everything like the original happened, except with the fight with Izuku and Katsuki. Instead, with this happened, a much quicker and easier fight would be happening for Izuku. Izuku is more agile, faster, stronger, and smarter than Katsuki. In battle, I would say smarter in battle. Izuku would be easily be able to use a 50% full counting punch and kick on Katsuki, which would immediately knock him out, as it wasn't really a fight that would put Katsuki as one of the strongest in the classes, as everyone thinks that he is just all bark and no bite. With Izuku now putting the hero capture tape on Katsuki, Katsuki is now out of the game, with now it's only Izuku and Ochako left with, versus Tenya. Ochako, who had left earlier to fight Tenya, as Izuku had told her that he will take care of Katsuki and to go and he'll meet up with her. The same fight would happen with Tenya, Edie, and Ochako, with Ochako using her quirk to float up all the other objects in the room to help hide herself in the presence. With Izuku now coming into the room, he's still in his 40% full cowling state, would easily be able to outspeed Tenya and knock him out with a kick to the face, knocking him out as well. With both of the villains knocked out, the hero team is now the winner. With both Tenya and Katsuki going to the nurse's office, and Izuku and Ochako going to the building where everyone else was watching. All Might would ask who they think the MVP is, with Momo saying that it is Izuku, as he effectively took out both Katsuki and Tenya with minimal difficulty, well, no difficulty at all, and did it in a quick speed as to not waste time to go towards the bomb. All Might would say that it's correct, and the class would congratulate both Izuku and Ochako. So we'll go into chapter 9, we're just going to the next part. With Katsuki waking up, now enraged, would keep it to himself, and would just think that Izuku has constantly been looking down on him, and hiding his quirk, and hiding that it is a very powerful quirk. And would be confused as why Izuku had never actually used it, with all the bullying that he and his little goons did to him. So now we'll go to after, so everything else will be finished with everything the original happening. Everything will be the same. So we'll go to the end of the day. After Izuku and Tenya and Ochako are walking, Katsuki calls over Izuku, and Izuku complies, with telling Ochako and Ida that he'll catch up to them and they should just go. Bakugo would ask Deku why he was saying Deku, but I'm not going to have Deku as his name, why he was hiding his quirk, with Izuku saying he wasn't hiding it, and he only recently awakened it, being only a year ago, and didn't tell Katsuki that because they were no longer friends like they used to be. With Katsuki now annoyed and saying that Izuku's a liar, Izuku would continue to tell Bakugo that it is not because he thought lesser of Bakugo, it's just that they weren't friends, and there was no need to tell him that he awakened a quirk, as, you know, they were bullying him, and why would you tell something, why would he need to tell him in the first place? With Izuku not revealing one for all and saying that it is a quirk that he'd gotten from All Might wouldn't need to step in, and like the original would happen, with Katsuki leaving and Izuku going to catch up with Ochako and Ida. The next day, with the news that All Might has entered entered as a UA teacher, the press are trying to get a scoop on All Might going to UA, and is asking the teachers outside the school for information on All Might, but their attempts failed due to the infamous UA barrier around the school. Izuku's trying to walk through the crowd, with all the reporters asking Izuku what class he's in, and what's it like having All Might as a teacher. With Izuku just trying to pass by, not trying to get involved with any of the news reporters stuffing microphones in his face, and immediately just tries to run past them, getting into the UA facilities, as more the press tried to follow him but are stopped again by the UA barrier. In class, Aizawa announces that their class needs to pick a class president, and after everyone saying that they should vote for themselves, Ida tells everyone that they should do a vote. With everyone agreeing, the votes are cast in, with Izuku getting majority of the votes and is elected as class president, with Momo being elected as vice president. Izuku, instead of having the normal, I think it's 4 votes or 3 votes, I don't remember, he would be getting way more votes, mainly because of his outgoing leadership attitude, as well as him having a very strong quirk and not being timid like he originally was. With him getting most of the class, except for a few votes, which would be from Bakugo and Todoroki, as they all want to be the number 1 for their own reasons. With Izuku not stepping down from the position, not wanting to, he would continue to be class president. At lunch in the mess hall, Izuku, Ochako, and Tenya all sit together with more people like Kirishima and I've actually forgotten all the people's names. Momo, as well as I forgot his name. It's the electricity guy. I forgot his name. It doesn't matter. Denki, yeah, that's it. With them all sitting together and forming their own group. Ochako notes the Tenya's formal attitude, and Tenya goes on to explain his prestigious Ida family heritage, telling them about the turbo hero Genian, who was his brother. Suddenly, the UA sirens go off, saying that someone has infiltrated UA. The students in the lunch hall all evacuate in a messy fashion, everyone yelling that they're gonna die. However, Izuku, seeing that the mass media is outside, and realizing that the sirens were indicating that there was intrusion, but it was just the media and all the reporters barging through the UA gates. After Izuku realizing this, he uses Black Whip to grab it onto the ceiling and launches himself above everyone else, and tells all the evacuating students to calm down, and then there's just the press outside. This causes the students to stop their panicking, and thus stopping the chaotic evacuation. After all this is done, back in Class 1A, I guess everything, that won't actually happen. Meanwhile, in the UA facility, sees that most of the UA barrier has been disintegrated, indicating that someone has indeed infiltrated UA. Nezu, realizing that it wouldn't be possible that some other reporter would have such a strong quirk and not be known, would think that this might be an element of evil that has instigated this intrusion. I'll put in a little spoiler here, so if you want to skip, just skip 15 seconds away. Oh no, actually I won't say that because people have recorded them it's the most recent chapter, so I won't go over that. So the next day in the afternoon, Class 1A and Shota Aizawa would announce that they will have a lesson of the foundational skills of the heroics, which is the trial of rescue. The class is going onto the bus to their destination, which will be the USJ, with Aizawa telling them that the USJ is not the Universal Studios of Japan, but instead is the unforeseen simulation joint. As they go into the bus, Izuku would see that the seats are just random, would just tell everyone to get in the bus as they do not need arranged seating. With everyone getting onto the bus, they would be all asking each other who they think the strongest in the class with everyone, except for, Bakugo and Todoroki and all those edgy people, would say that Izuku probably has the strongest quirk and probably the strongest out of all of them. I think it was Denki, or was it? I've actually forgotten the frog girl now. Sue. Yeah, okay, that's a name I've actually forgot. That was actually real bad. Anyway, Sue points out that Izuku's quirk is very much like All Might, with his extreme strength, but Izuku would try to evade the question, saying that his quirk is more of an energy-based stacker, where he's able to continuously stack energy, which is how he's also able to use Black Whip, which is just the manifestation of that energy, and able to use it as a whip, as well as boosting his physical abilities, with the class buying it, except for one, Todoroki, who would think and start to believe that Izuku is All Might's secret love child. With the bus reaching the destination, they are greeted by the Space Hero 13, as she is one of the teachers for the lesson of the USJ, with Aizawa as well telling 13 that All Might has run out of time and he will not be joining them for this class. 13 would go on to give the speech to 1A, telling them their lesson about wielding their quirks for the sake of human life and not for and how dangerous they are as well. After the speech is finished, Aizawa sees a black portal opening and dozens of villains come through. Aizawa orders the students to huddle together and commands 13 to protect the students as Aizawa gears up for battle. One of the villains say that All Might was supposed to be here according to the curriculum they got yesterday, which causes Aizawa to realize that they were the ones who infiltrated UA. After Aizawa is getting ready to attack the villains, Aizawa goes to fight the villains and defeats many of them easily due to his speciality in one-on-one group fights. The villains soon recognize him as the pro hero Razorhead and quickly remember his quirk. Izuku is amazed that a teacher who is physically quirkless, except for his quirk and nullifying eyes, is able to take down these villains at a quick pace and with so many of them getting out. Meanwhile, 13 and Class 1A are attempting to evacuate, but the villain called Kurogiri stops them, telling the students in 13 that they are the League of Villains and their goal is to kill All Might. Both Katsuki and Ojiro, I think it's Ojiro, as well as Izuku, go to attack Kurogiri. Instead of failing like the original, Izuku is able to quickly and a fast pace blitz through and punch Kurogiri, doing some damage to him, with Katsuki blowing through the dark mist, Izuku landing a hit on the middle plate, and Ojiro missing as well. With this difference, Izuku, the portal doesn't go and take everyone away, but Izuku had overjumped and is now heading towards Aizawa and all the many other villains in the main area. With Kurogiri stabilizing himself, he then goes to send everyone away, with everyone in the original places all sent to the original places, except for Izuku, who is now down with Aizawa. Aizawa, seeing Izuku, tries to help defend him, but is overwhelmed by trying to defend Izuku, who has just landed, as well as beating off all the attacks. Izuku would tell his teacher that he doesn't need to worry about him, and that he will help him fight. He also explains the situation up there, and that he overlaunched himself. Or he overpushed himself, or it doesn't matter. And he now landed here with the help of Izuku, with all his strength and being able to use Black Whip. He is also able to destroy and knock out and beat all the other villains, and with the help of Aizawa would be even easier, as Izuku is basically the more physical type of he's the weapon and Aizawa is the shield, taking away the quirk, which makes it easier for Izuku to use his quirk to the full ability. Team 9. I'll just say it's hard to explain. It's just the quirk's gone, so it's just like versing a quirkless person with all my strength. At UA in the nurse's office, All Might tries to contact 13 and Aizawa, but is unable to. All Might decides to go to the USJ in a few minutes. However, Principal Nezu arrives and tells All Might that he just needs to relax and that nothing bad's going to happen in the USJ. The principal then starts to talk about the educational theories with All Might, noting that he hasn't changed one bit. Meanwhile, in the USJ, 13 notes that they can't make eye contact with the outside world, and 13 orders not the class president anymore, Tenure to dash towards to UA to tell the teachers there that there are villains here. Tenure, who is skeptical about this, thinking about running back to UA, while also having the thought that he cannot run away from his friends, and that he would just be a coward from doing so. While after some encouragement from the remaining classmates, 13 tells him to use his quirk to save others, and Tenure decides to rush back to UA. Kurogiri, who had overheard their plans, goes to stop Tenure, but 13 stands in the way of Kurogiri, and Kurogiri battle each other. At the flood zone in the USJ, Mineta is saved by Tsuyu, and it would just be the two of them on the boat. This would be I reckon that Tsuyu and Mineta would probably just stay on the boat, as they do not have Izuku there to make a proper plan to win this, and so they would just be stuck on the boat waiting for the other heroes or other students to help them out, as they are not fit to defeat all these villains and leave. At the landslide zone, again, Todoroki is just, freezing all the villains. The mountain zone, Denki, Momo, and Kota all there, and they're just chilling, Back at the Central Plaza with Aizawa and Izuku fighting, Shigaraki notes that Izuku is very strong, and that they are dismantling all the small villains with ease. With Aizawa and Izuku both teaming up, they manage to try and strike Tomura, but is stopped when a massive black creature stops and absorbs Izuku's hit. Izuku, who is baffled by this beast thing, stopping his 40% full cowling hit, would note that this has to be some sort of shock absorption type of quirk, and would try to back away, but is suddenly grabbed by the creature. Here I'm going to leave this off. I didn't actually continue to write this. I was just going off the top of my head today. It might sound a little like trash, but just bear with it, I didn't post yesterday. I'm gonna go to a every 2 days type of thing, because I can't handle doing every single day uploads. It's very stressful. I would just like you guys to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and comment any other what if ideas that you want, and comment any ideas that you can help to improve what I'm making here. So yeah, if you enjoyed that, hit that like button and subscribe button again, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.